Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Friday Friends. It's another beautiful Friday out there, and I'm happy to be here sharing information with all of you. I am, in case you didn't know, Deb Burton, the founder and creator of RI Elder Info. It is the most comprehensive resource for seniors, caregivers, and professionals in Rhode Island. And I encourage all of you to visit rielderinfo.com if you need any information for aging successfully here in our beautiful Ocean State. We are a 501c3 nonprofit, so we are dependent on our donors and our sponsors and grant funders. So we are always very grateful to those individuals. One of our sponsors, Oak Street Health, located in Woonsocket, 2 offices in Providence, 1 in Warwick over by the Christmas tree shop. They even provide transportation into the doctor's offices. Great place. I encourage you to check it out. Another of our sponsors is Tamarisk Health Center. It is an assisted living located right over by Warwick Mall, easy on and off the highway to go visit your loved ones. They even have a memory care in case your loved one has dementia. So Tamarisk is a great place. What we do would certainly not be possible without D&B Media. They're running the show behind the scenes for me. And you probably found out about this event taking place today because of our great team over at England Studio. England Studio is also the web design team that built RI Elder Info. So again, it's not possible without the support of our sponsors. We also are going to have a huge event coming up on March 18th. So make sure that you mark your calendars from 9 to 12 right here on Facebook, called Calling All Women Warriors. And it's an opportunity for women who have served our country in the military to get accurate information on resources available for them. And our sponsors for that are Raytheon and Cross Country Mortgage and D&B Studios. We've got the support of Lieutenant Governor, soon to be Governor McKee, the Rhode Island Veterans Office of Veterans Services, Loisel Insurance, Cross Country Mortgage. It's going to be a great event. I really encourage everybody to participate. So there's going to be information shared today that you're going to know somebody who they need that information. So I encourage you to like this video and share it out. And I would like to welcome my guest, Channavy Chhay of the Center for Southeast Asians. Welcome. How are you?
Good. Thank you, Deb, and thank you for having us on. And I really appreciate it. And I hope you are weathering this pandemic okay, you and your family.
So far, so good. It's been a whole lot of hand washing and social distancing and mask wearing.
Definitely.
Yes, and I'm excited that the vaccines are coming out now. Super important that people get vaccinated. I'm not eligible yet. I'm not in that age criteria yet, but super important.
Yeah, it is very, very important. And I think the vaccine is going to be tremendous help in terms of eradicating the disease that is taking burden and a toll on all our community. So I hope that if anyone at the age that they are right now, please sign up and please go get the vaccine.
Yes, absolutely. And yeah, it's going to allow us to go back to a new sense of normal and be able to move about and visit our loved ones.
Yes.
So tell everybody, what does the Center for Southeast Asians do?
Yeah. So thank you again, Deb, for having us on. The Center for Southeast Asian birthed in 1987 to better serve the Southeast Asian community, which was affected by the Vietnam War, which we look at right now. It's over 40 years, right? But it seemed like yesterday for us. So lots of those refugees came through the door of Rhode Island. And so there was no agency could service this community, obviously, because of the language barriers and the cultural barriers. And so unique group of people come together and form what is now, it used to be called SEDC. It's Economic Development Center for Southeast Asian, but that's too long of a name. And so we, when I came on board to join the organization 10 years ago, we went out to the community and changed our name to represent who we are and shorten the name because and reflect of the people that we serve. So just like any organization, the Center for Southeast Asian not only serves Southeast Asian, but we also serve a sizable other minority community member who, whether it's they left their country due to war torn or asylum or just immigration for better job, education, and they need help. They need connection. And the center is a place where people can come in and see their faces. And the staff that employ here speak multiple languages. Most of us speak at least 2 or 3 languages. So you get to greet in your own languages. And so people come here to access services. We are the only organization in United States service for Southeast Asian group. And so we have all our staff reflect the community we serve, including myself, and also the language that we accommodate. So they come here and access from crisis intervention, domestic violence, to elderly services. We deal a lot with our own elderly populations. We work with right now is kicking gear is taxes. We are certified by the IRS to prepare taxes for free. So anyone can just walk in and sign up. So from taxes to case management, some people just need, sometimes they can receive a letter that they don't know how to read and they just want someone to read it and translate it for them and then take action if necessary. So we're a range of services. Could be immigration, could be adult education. We have adult literacy program, also job development programs that we have here. So there's nothing that the center have yet to not able to serve our community. And so we would love people to come and visit the center and get to know the center and see what the center can offer for the community. So thank you for asking that.
So I've already learned stuff, and this is wonderful. So when you think of Southeast Asia, I don't know that folks necessarily understand what countries that encompasses and what languages might be available. So if there's case managers out there perhaps working with someone, say from Laos, maybe they recognize that's from Southeast Asia, maybe not. What countries would that represent, just for those who might not be familiar, and what languages are available?
Right. So that's a great question. That Southeast Asia is a huge geography, right? So you're going from Indonesia to Malaysia to Burma, Thailand. That's all in the geography of Southeast Asia. But the center served the community that was affected by the Vietnam War. So those are the 4 countries, like Vietnam, of course, the folks that come from Vietnam, from Cambodia, from Laos, and also Hmong, the Hmong community. Those are the 4 subgroup of Southeast Asia or Southeast Asian community that was affected by the Vietnam War. But we serve Asian American. As you know, the Asian American are the Chinese, in the Asian continent, which is the Chinese, the Korean, the Japanese. These are community that are much better. They have a little bit more sure footing than the Southeast Asian group because of the war that we have faced. And so these are the groups. So the Cambodian, they speak the language called Khmer. It's like, I speak English. So Khmer is an English version. If you're Lao, you speak Lao or Laotian. If you're Vietnamese, you speak Vietnamese, which is just as that. And then Hmong, the Hmong community is a different subgroup. They are a group of, they don't really have a land in Southeast Asia per se, but they live in the highland of Vietnam. And they also live in the land of Laos, in the border of Thailand, and also Cambodia. So they're indigenous group, and so they have their own culture, their own religion. Now, all of these four subgroups have their own religion, their practices. Some of them are Buddhist, some of them are shaman, some of them are Christianity. So they are totally different. I'm Cambodian, so I speak Khmer and I speak French, of course English, Parisian French because of our country. But my culture and my religion is very different than the Hmong, than the Vietnamese, than the Laotian. So I have to learn those culture myself. And they all speak different languages, have different culture, different costumes. And so none of us are the same. I mean, in our office, we have 11 team members. We have Maria, who speaks Portuguese, Portuguese Creole, Haitian Creole, Spanish, and English. And we have Emily Lewis, but she's born and raised, she's a Irish American, but she speaks fluent Spanish because 62% of our population we serve at the center is Hispanic. We also have like Molly Niet. Molly speak Khmer, Lao, Thai. So, we try to have staff that can cater to all the community that walk in. And we're located in South Providence, obviously. Our storefront is right in the heart of inner city. And it's a portal to City Hall. So obviously hustle and bustle of different ethnic minority community. At any day, you won't see people at the same group of people. It's going to be very, very different. So yes, that is the geography education for this morning, Deb.
That's good, but that's important because I think a lot of times people unfortunately lump folks
That's right.
together and
That's
don't
right.
recognize that each country is its own country. Just
Right.
like,
Yep.
we are located at the moment in North America, but America is its own country, as is Canada and Mexico, etc. And I think sometimes folks lump people together, and that's just not okay.
Right.
It's
And you raised the right question, and look at in today's world, right?
Mhm.
Whatever the rhetoric that has been put forth, that happened because of this pandemic, from the rhetoric from it's a kung fu virus or rhetorics that said Chinese virus, those things matter. The word, the civility, the mannerism that you demonstrate as leaders, or even simple people like me, when we utter those unkind word or gesture, it set ramification for a group of people. And because people, we are a creature that like exactly like you said, we lump people together. It doesn't matter those rhetoric. It hurts. Look at across our country, the rise of anti-Asian American. And anti-Asian American has been since the turn of the century, or even before the turn of the century, right? From the Chinese Exclusion Acts to the internment camp for the Japanese, and then for the Southeast Asian that came here after the Vietnam War. This pandemic unveiled the mask that have been steep hidden, um, way, so that people um, don't show the true meaning of what it means to treat each other kindly, right? So it just unveiled that hates and that racism that have systemically underlying the tone because of rules and laws that protect us, but not necessarily that when the worst time come out, it bring the worst of evil that come out. And it mistreated us and it categorized us and put us in corner. That's why the Center for Southeast Asian right now is a place where ethnic minority are a place that they turn to. Since June, when the governor opened and have us reopen, we immediately opened the center because we knew our community need our help. Our community needs support from organizations like us because there was no place to go. So nationally, you see the rise of people that has been harassed, that has been intimidated, that even has been murdered. Look at in San Diego, a Thai man, 80 plus year old. What can he do? So, and then a Chinese woman, what can they do? So, and then this community, because they just want to live in peace, especially our elders, they don't want to say anything because they're afraid to say something. Because when you say something, there are going to be implication or ramification that you have to follow through. And so they rather not say anything and live in quiet. And then our elders would tell people like me who have a big mouth to say, stay quiet. You know that? They said, daughter, stay quiet. Because when you stay quiet, they go away. They don't know that we can't stay quiet for people like us. We have to call to attention that we have to learn how to treat each other better, especially our elders. They're so vulnerable. At this pandemic time, they are isolated, especially ethnic minority community. They don't speak English, so they can't watch TV and understand what the news is telling them. They don't understand that they listening to a radio and understand what you have to say, that because they don't have the language skill to understand, and so they are isolated. And people like us, like you and me and many others out there who want to serve this community, this is the most vulnerable population, and we need help. It doesn't matter the language, the culture. I always reminded people, all you have to do is just take your hand, well, pandemic time, before pandemic time, is take your hand and hold their hand and grab it and bring them in. That is more powerful than winning a lottery in this world. That to me, anyway, more powerful. So those are the pandemic that affect our community and our elderly population. Because of the rise of anti-Asian, there's lots of us that are not able to go out freely, and we have to stay, in our own little corner and wait until everything pan out and everything get better. And so these are things that leaders have to understand, that what we do, what we say does matter. We have
And
to hold on to that.
and so we see these hate crimes happening around on the news. Are we seeing hate crimes and that hate speech here in Rhode Island?
I mean, you look at the incidents in Barrington, right? Look at the incidents in Barrington, the neighbors, the woman received a letter, um, you know, that's hate letter. So in our community, our market at the beginning of the pandemic was forced to close down. Not forced to close down because they haven't got COVID yet, but they were forced to close down because they were told by individuals or group of people to shut down, otherwise they burn it down.
Oh my
So
God.
our market is, there's only a few market to serve and bring ethnic food into this community. So when those marketplace shut down, the food insecurity rampant, and because there's no place to go shopping for your own um, food type that you are looking for. And with our elders, that's what they're looking for. They're looking to make the food that they are used to. And when those places shut down, there's nowhere to go. And so, and that's scary because that sends a huge ripple effect in our community. It's like, war all over again for them. And they just came out of war. Like I said, it's been over 40 years ago the Vietnam War is over. But for people like me who are war survivor, our war is still exists today, even though it's 40 plus years ago. Someone like me who was in a concentration camp, who lost all my family. I mean, I look at my 80-year-old mom, right, who lost all her children except one. 5 children she had, only one left, that's me. And then her husband, her parents, her brothers, her aunts, her uncle, all gone. but she's able to came to this country at an age of 40 plus, work two jobs, not any, you know, extraordinary job, but a job in manufacturing just to put food on the table. And now she's 80 years old. She can't go anywhere. She can't step out of her home because one is COVID, two is afraid of harassment and threat because she can't defend herself. That's the community. In here in Rhode Island, we have not seen, and I was just spoken to somebody at the Jewish Alliance, and you know, we were talking about like what can we do to help begin having a conversation with people about this impact. And I made mention that one is that this pandemic is show the real challenge of our community. But the other one is that we have to remember that there are forces that bigger that is mean that people are pitting us against each other. Minority are pitting each other against each other, which is that is not right. And we have to take a look at that as well. So we can't allow hate to drive that issues as well. And so, you know, we have to look at a bigger systemic change in our society. How do we support this community? How do we work together? And not allow those people to put a wedge between you and me.
I'm in, but whatever you guys are working on, you can count on me as an individual, and RA Elder Info as an entity, because some of what you've said is like left me a bit choked up because I see people. And I personally appreciate our differences.
Right.
And other people see differences and they're afraid. Right. And they don't know what to say. And I know that sometimes when people don't know what the right thing to say is, they say nothing.
Exactly.
Because they don't want to accidentally offend. And so if there's something that I can do to help with that dialogue, which is also why I asked at the beginning of what areas constitute Southeast Asia, because I know that people don't know that, but a lot of times they're not comfortable saying that. And obviously, you know, my area of expertise is working with older adults and finding resources for older adults. And I think it is 40 years since Vietnam ended. And yet, when we think of what has occurred in those 40 years, so I'm in my 50s, I can easily remember being a kid in the 70s and seeing those ads on TV and, you know, riding my bike with the purple bike with the banana seat. So yes, that was almost 50 years ago for me to remember. It's like yesterday. That doesn't change as we get older. And I think it's really important that when you're working with an older adult who maybe has come from a war situation, that those memories are just as salient now as when it was happening then.
Yeah. You know, that we are no different. When you look at World War II, the elder that survived World War II, right? What they suffer is no different than the people that survived the genocide of Pol Pot, the genocide of Darfur, right? There is no different because those memory of losing your loved one. Yeah, I just use my mom as an example. You know, for her resiliency to thrive and grow. She could have been curled up in a corner somewhere, right? Yeah. She did not. She refuses to give up to those people. Her own people have murdered all her family, her children, right? She didn't. And so she came here and she resiliently worked hard, put food on the table, educate. So my mom remarried with my stepdad and have my brother. And my brother's a staff sergeant and deployed twice. He had no idea about Cambodia and what happened during the Vietnam War. He was born and raised here in America. And then when he went to Kuwait in Afghanistan during that time. He came back, and the story I share with him about my survival and about his mom, our mom's survival, he said, when you told me that, I didn't take it seriously. Only when I was deployed and was there, that's when it seeped in how in depth it was. And he came back with PTSD. And there was a movie that came out recently, a couple of years ago, First They Killed My Father. It's written by a woman, um, and it turned into a movie. Angelina Jolie turned into a movie. And he took my children to go see because I won't go see those movies. And so he then talked to my children and educate them about the impact of what this war did to our community. And so I can relate to elders that grew up in the Second World War and what they faced. When you read Anne Frank book, I could take I my life. I mean, she's just locked up in a room somewhere. For me, was thrown into a concentration camp, at a very young age. I think we're about the same age. We born in the 60s. And so I grew up in 1975 in a concentration camp. And then from there in 1980 left to a refugee camp and then escaped here to Rhode Island, landed here. People ask me all the time, how did I chose Rhode Island? Well, you don't get to choose Rhode Island. You go where they send you. And this is what our elders does. And so when they walk through my door, I am humbly honored, that their mind is sharp and they're able to help their children now become educated. Now they raise their children to become like me, like my brother, and many others that work here. So I am so proud of our elders and what they have gone through. And look at the elders that in World War II, look at what they built, the roads still last. And then now we build something and it fall apart.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We got to replace it in like 5 or 10 years. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So these are things that we have to remind each other how we treat each other. And the question you asked, Deb, is how, sometimes people don't want to make mistakes. It's, love, respect, humility. It doesn't take a lot. It doesn't take a lot. It doesn't cost a price. It doesn't cost a dime or a penny. What it costs is time, effort, and energy to come in and say, you guys did a great job. How can I do? Like life of service. And I was a keynote speaker for Wheeler School, upper school last week. If one devote their life to service, what that means is like, you don't have to do a lot. If you walk by your town and you see a coffee cup being thrown on the street, pick that up. Just simply pick that up and put it in the right place, in the right trash bin, so that someone else doesn't have to walk through trash to get to where they need to be, right? Simple as that. But then people don't do it because they said, well, it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter. Simple as that does matter. Like for me, is as ED, I get criticized by my own community that I go pick up trash because I refuses to have anyone that walk into our door, whether it's their visitors, whether they're accessing service, is not to have swim through trash on Elmwood Avenue to get to the center. So I did that. It's not because that I am like, oh, I just want to pick trash. I get criticized by saying, well, she can't raise enough money to hire someone to do that. Or she's doing it is because she's too cheap to doing that. So all these things, right? Instead of us thinking about, you know what, I should be doing that too. Let me doing that. You don't have to be at the center. Could be around your town. Simple as growing a few plants, extra plant, and then plant it at someone's yard. To give that life into their yard. Simple of life of service. Those kind of things that would help, bring our community together, unite us together, and unite our differences just because love, respect, humility.
That is a beautiful, beautiful statement right there. So tell me, is the center, is it a 501c3?
We are 501c3. We're a nonprofit agency, and we are welcome if anyone wants to volunteer. We're welcome, from doing taxes to adult literacy program to job employment. If anybody have skills that either plumbing, heating, carpentry that they want to teach, we welcome anyone that willing to, and even helping us fix our heating system, which doesn't work right now at the moment. Or simple, just call in and just say, hey, we're here, and anything you need, let us know. The same thing, we're here for the community. If anything they need, from doing taxes, from just simple reading the letter to say, hey, this is what the letter said, this is what you want to do. We're here for the community as well. And of course, we're in the 501c3. So if anyone just want to donate, they can just call 401-274-8811, the front desk, and we would help process, or log on to our website, which is www.cseari.org. And they can pay through PayPal there as well. So we will welcome anyone that interested in wanting to learn more or get involved with our community.
This has been absolutely amazing. I want to continue our dialogue because I want to learn what is a good way to be able to reach our elders, all of our elders, so that they're aware of what the resources are that are available out there to help them remain independent. Right now it's super important to reach folks to let them know about the COVID vaccine. So anything, we can do to help support, get that information out to seniors, just let me know. That's important.
Yes, we will definitely start a relationship of dialogue. So I'll come on a regular basis.
That sounds good. Yes.
Thank you, Deb.
Thank you so much for joining today.
Thank you for everything. God bless. Yes.
God bless you. Wow, that was an amazing conversation that we just had, and it's recorded, so if you missed part of it, I encourage you to go back and watch. You'll learn a lot. I look forward to seeing you all next week. I hope that you have hit the like button and the share button, and that you have a blessed day. Thank you.
If you liked this video, please follow us on social media and subscribe on YouTube. For more information, visit rielderinfo.com or call 401-585-0509. If you have any questions, email deb@rielderinfo.com.